All right, the next video I saw was a video by Professor Dutton. And of course, as we know, Professor Dutton is a neo-reactionary sort of dude. He's written books about race and everything. Edward Dutton, and is catered himself to the old alt right. The people like Richard Spencer and what was his name, Thomas Whitnat, I think, and whatever the hell those guys' names are. He has obliged himself to them. Okay. So, he made a video, of course, saying that college is dumb and it's pointless for most people. And, ultimately, places like, not Harvard, but Cambridge were pretty much, falling into the same trap that we were now, where it's just like they were teaching about dance and, etiquette, things that were long past, due, and that basically college is useless for people graduating. I'm not going to lie. That's true. That is true. Even though now I don't have diploma in my hand. I don't have a degree in my hand, but ultimately, yeah, it's pretty worthless. What I will say to that, though, is this very bullshit dichotomy, and I mentioned it before, way back when, talking about HVAC, my time in HVAC, but the college trade school argument. It's just either, when you reach 18 or when you reach a certain age, you can either go to college or you can go to trade school or you can do something else. It's just like, it's such a false dichotomy. And it's just a bullshit argument. And they'll say, well, look at what Germany does, this and that. Okay, yeah. Guess what? We're not Germany. The thing is, Germany is a culture based in technique. Technique. Technik, right? And there's a whole history of that. The United States does have a history of technical expertise to a point, but it's not something that has been taught universally across the country, at least in my opinion. And maybe even if it wasn't like that for very long. Maybe in like what, the 1930s, maybe, I don't know, but it wasn't taught that way. Trade schools today are no different, in my opinion, than colleges. They will have you take some tests that ultimately mean nothing. They teach you very, very little about what your job is. For example, I don't know if I've given this example, but I'll give you this example. Okay. So I got I was about to get my little certificate in HVAC/R. Heating, ventilation, air conditioning / refrigeration. Now, first day I'm working for this company. And I come up there, and there's my instructor on the roof. The guy that the instructor that I had at school. He's on the roof of this place. We're working, particularly a walk-in freezer, okay, at a rib place. And he's talking about a lot of different stuff that you could do. Oh, well, you could do this, you could do that, and everything else. I think he just wanted to make sure that I showed up to the job, number one. Number two, I think he just wanted to get out. But he started talking about a concept that no HVAC technician uses in real life, which is something called, oh shit, I cannot think of the name of it. It's basically like you add 30 points or a certain number of points. It's like if you have 410A as a refrigerant, then you may add like 20 degrees from the outside air. It's like, okay, so if it's 75 degrees outside, then you add 20 degrees on the high side and you subtract 20 degrees on the low side, right? Meaning like, okay, oh man, I got to get into okay. High side meaning, the high pressure stuff coming straight off the compressor, going into the condenser, right? And low side being the stuff that's coming out of the condenser, going back into the compressor. Okay. So I think it's not delta. Yeah, delta T just means a temperature difference. I'm I cannot remember the name of it, but it's like, and the technician I'm working with is like, yeah, that I'm sure that'll work. Nobody uses that shit. That's the whole thing. I got my little degree, I wish. I got my little certificate in HVAC. And I worked in that field for about 6 months. I worked at a place, they kicked me out because I didn't know that much about, well, I was just a screw up, basically. I'll just put it that way. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. So I was a screw up. They just didn't think I had the cojones. They just basically didn't like me. That's my cope. They'll probably just say, no, he just couldn't do the job. I'll just put it that way. He couldn't do the job. I couldn't do the job. So they let me go. Try to get hired at another company. They wanted someone that was ready to go out in a vehicle and diagnose problems on an air conditioning unit right then and there. They didn't want to waste time training you. So they kicked me to the curb after 2 weeks after that. What people don't realize going into the trades is that you have to spend at least 3 years working as an apprentice. And maybe longer, because the thing is, it's very, like I say, HVAC is wild, wild west in general. Yes, there are standards. And yeah, you can take like North American Trade Excellence and you can get those little certificates and you get your little ICE certificate. No, different type of ICE, not immigration. Yeah, customs enforcement, not that one, the other one. And you can get, certifications in various different things. Like I say, NATE certifications, like, you can get, like heat to heat, air to air, or heat pumps, air to air, oil, gas, heat. You can get all these little patches to say, oh, yeah, well, I'm NATE certified. But ultimately, unless you work for a company and they produce and they work on Carrier stuff, like Carrier, the brand, other than that, no one really gives a shit. Now, plumbing is a whole different matter. It varies from state to state, probably even from county to county. Here in Texas, there's a place called Buda, Buda, and you go down there and, you can take the exam and you take a test. They test, like how you, soft solder and, and how you weld, copper and all that sort of thing. And they'll cut a sawzall in half and make sure that you got all the way around. Otherwise, you failed that bit. And they'll, you'll take the test and everything else like that. So you can be considered an apprentice plumber. Plumbers, it's a much more, like I say, it's much more structured attitude where it's just like, you do have to be licensed by the state and everything. And you do kind of with HVAC, like I say, it's a varying thing. I can't speak for welding or with carpentry. I never worked in those fields. But the thing is, though, is it's a very rigid system, particularly HVAC. HVAC is broken down into 2 separate bits between install and repair or technician. Install folks, they just spend all day installing units, like your outdoor units and the indoor stuff, putting in duct work and putting in specialized duct work, the aluminum duct work and all that business for big buildings and whatnot. That's what you do all day. That's all you do is just go around, your county or you go around your tri-county area or wherever. And that's what you do. You install. You make less money. Technicians get more money. You spend most of the day repairing old stuff and, making, just doing what you can, right? And you do PMs, preventative maintenances, or, pointless maintenances, as some technicians may say. All right. Now, the thing is, it's very, like I say, there are people that do both. There are people that do install and do technician work. Absolutely. Yeah, it happens. There are plenty of folks like that. But the traditional company system does exist where it's like, if you're an install guy, you stay in install and you make not as much money as a technician does. You know? So I really don't understand. And there are plenty of folks that are just dumb as hell that are still there for whatever reason. And there are plenty of podunk sort of, HVAC technicians. I'm sure plumbers too out there. They're just like, they'll repair, like PVC lines, and they'll probably use a piece of hose. Or it'll be a copper line, and they'll use a PVC fitting to close it up because they can't find anything else. So this whole college versus trade school stuff, and like I say, I'm speaking from my very limited attitude, but you can say college is bullshit and people can get their degrees, and I know that conservatives always say this, but basket weaving or something like that. Yeah, I get it. I got my degree in marketing. That's not to say that that's a hugely high, skill set. I would say to a point, I don't know what's knocking around in there. There's probably not much left. I don't really remember that much. The thing is, though, you know what? Fuck that. College is gay. College is just ridiculous. Trade school is ridiculous too, though. Especially in the United States. It's like, okay, yeah, you can learn to be a plumber. You could learn to be a carpenter or an electrician. All right, whatever. All right, man. But that's not going to guarantee you a fucking job. I mean, that's my view of it anyway. It's like I say, this country is generally in a malaise. And it's something where you really don't learn that much, in my opinion. In my general opinion, that's the case of the matter, is that you really don't learn that much. You learn enough just so you don't get run over, But, that way it's easier to kick you to the curb as well. So, I mean, it's just such a false dichotomy. It really is. It's like, yeah, there are plenty of morons who get their degrees in, I don't know, accounting or something like that and end up getting their CPA. Yeah, absolutely. And they basically just serve as bureaucrats. Maybe they work in a comptroller's office or something, or they work as, some public accountant somewhere, where they're living in an apartment or something. Look, I get it. But to say that you're going to be making big money because you're an HVAC technician, no, not necessarily, And the thing is, you can be kicked to the curb. It's like there are plenty of days where it's just like, there's no work to be had. There's no work, or there's no PMs or anything else like that. And they'll just say, yeah, you get to go home because we can't afford to keep you on right now. So I don't know. I understand the whole business about, college is nonsense and you don't really learn anything. Absolutely. You basically learn stuff from, what they show you in in videos and what I get it. College is bullshit. Yeah. But to say that trade schools or some other third positionist way, no, it's just, like I say, it's just a general malaise, or it's like, in general, a lot of folks don't learn shit in the U.S. You really don't. That's why we have the problems that we do, because nobody learns anything. Nobody builds anything or anything else, right? There's no incentive or anything like that to build fancy stuff or to learn how to, change your tire or something like that, right? It's like, I've had to, yeah. But it's not something that people feel an incentive to. It's just like, I could just go up there for, and take my mom's money, and I could just go up there and get my, have them just change out my tires or something, or have them do an oil change for me because they know how to do it better. Why do I need to waste my money? Right? So I don't know. I understand that's the whole, but it's just a cheap sort of conservative sort of way where it's just like, yeah, people shouldn't be educated as much. Yeah, people can learn on their own. But I don't know. It's all bullshit to me. Anyway, that one was a bit longer. This third one will hopefully be a little bit more engaging, and hopefully will be a little bit more entertaining. So see you later, and goodbye.